Yeah, there we go. Yeah, you can take the face off to reveal the animatronic face.
Let's see. There you
There we
go.
go. Yeah.
That's a jump scare right there.
Ah!
Nerd reactor, roll out.
What's up, everybody? John here, and I'm with Mike, FNAF extraordinaire. Uh, he's a fan. He's a fan of Five Nights at Freddy's, and so we both seen Five Nights at Freddy's. We did a previous review, and it was a non-spoiler version. But now with Mike being able to see the whole thing, we can finally get into the nitty-gritty of this movie. And whether it's made for fans or whether it's like a big fu to just the general movie-going audiences, but there's a lot of stuff to talk about this weekend just because of Five Nights at Freddy's. It came out. It was available for Peacock, but also in theaters. And in theaters, it made a lot of money, right? Like, it's pretty good.
Yeah, really big weekend for FNAF. Did amazing. This is Blumhouse, Jason Blum, owner, producer, Blumhouse. He came out and said that this is literally the biggest opening weekend that they've had for any movie. So out of everything that they've done as far as Blumhouse, this tops everything. So Paranormal Activity, they've done a lot of stuff. Blumhouse has gotten kind of like they still kind of keep their roots in horror, but then they've kind of gone outside and like done some bigger projects. But this is the biggest thing that they've done to date, and I think it's tracking to make about 130 million worldwide, 78 million just here in the US. And you got to consider, like, this is a $20 million budget. Like, this is a
It already
small,
made its money. It
yeah,
already made its money. Like,
it's considered a small movie.
yeah,
And yeah, they're like, of course there's gonna be another one.
yeah,
And
of course.
there's been a lot of, not a controversy, but like people have been taking up sides because of, obviously the Rotten Tomatoes story came out, and I think people already kind of knew what to expect, especially fans. Um, you know, Scott Cawthon came out and he posted a thing before, and he said like, oh, this movie's for fans, and I appreciate all you guys is being along the trip and helping us make this a reality. I never thought when I first made the first game that this is where it would go to be, and like the franchise and the property had grown to what it is now, and it's because of you and because of your dedication, because of how much you like the games and how much you like the the story, that there's a movie, and now it's a number one at the box office.
Yeah.
And we'll see how it continues to do as the coming weeks, but I mean, yeah, it was a big weekend for it.
I Every time when people say it's for the fans, like I get where it's coming from, and it's cool to make something that's geared towards like fans, like showing off Easter eggs and all that. But part of it just kind of irks me. Like, but what about just movie going people, right? Like, like it's cool. Like there are certain projects that's made for fans, but also the people love it. Like for
Yeah.
example, like the earlier years of the MCU, or even just certain projects where you're watching this, like, oh, this is made for fans, but also I highly enjoyed this. And
Mhm.
let's say there's like so many projects you can think about like that's made for fans, but everyone loves it. Let's say Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Like book fans, like there are some book purists that will have some gripes with the Lord of the Rings films, but overall, like a lot of people just enjoy it. It made a lot of money, and it's also like, yeah, this is what I wanted to see with Gimli and Legolas and Aragorn and all that stuff, and seeing the hobbits and throwing the ring down Mount Doom. Just everyone's happy, right? It wasn't just the fans like, oh, this is good, and then everyone else was like, man, this is just made for the Lord of the Rings fans, like just
Yeah.
yeah. But this one is very split with the reactions from, let's say, on Rotten Tomatoes. You have 26% as of right now, 26%, and then for the audience score, it's 88%. And I think my most important thing that I like out of all the different rating system is the cinema score, and cinema score has an A minus. That is very high for cinema score. And the reason why I love cinema score is that they track through people just leaving the theater and just asking about that. So it's not like on Rotten Tomatoes where you have the critics, where that's their job, where they're reviewing a bunch of movies. So they have that mindset, or audience scores where it's the people that already are excited about a certain project, so they'll actively go to the site to review
Yeah.
it. So it's not like just anyone is gonna do it. But Cinema Score, they're just asking just random people, and
That's really
so
cool.
A minus.
I mean,
That's all.
yeah, it's gotta say something. I mean, when we talked before, like I hadn't seen it, and then I finally watched it, and I actually sat down and watched it like not short after we talked, and yeah, I liked it. I mean, it's kind of like a compared it to watching like old Goosebumps or like Are You Afraid of the Dark? You remember that Area Indiana? Like those were like the kids horror,
Yeah,
TV shows, but like it got a little gory. I really never like got like scared. I think the parts that were really good that kind of got me freaked out was where the parts where they did a really good job with using the animatronics, and when the animatronics were like in like robot mode, and then all of a sudden they would kind of like switch out of it. Like there's that scene where Josh Hutcherson, Mike, he's trying to sneak back into the Pizzaplex, and then I think it's Freddy who's already doing his like dance or whatever, and Freddy hears something, and he's in the middle of a dance, and all of a sudden he just turns and he's looking, and because he heard something, and then like you're like, oh, he's sentient now, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like he's not just the robot, and then he goes back into robotic mode, and like that really creeped me out.
Oh yeah, there's
Yeah.
yeah, like you, like if you watched our previous review, I enjoyed the movie, and pretty much the whole thing is I thought it wasn't as scary as that it could be, and I would
Mhm.
much love it to be an R-rated film, but I get why it's PG-13.
Yeah.
And but I like the lore. I just like the characters. I like some of the stuff, like bringing the stuff to life from the video games. Like you look at the monitors and you're staring at the monitors in a creepy way, and we
Yeah.
get a little bit of that. And then we also have just yeah, everything, like just sneak peeks or like Easter eggs of different people, influencers that have helped shape Five Nights at Freddy's along the way. And yeah, this is a spoiler-filled review, so we're gonna be digging deep, and we
Yeah.
can talk about like Matt Pat, who's in it, and etc. But I just now want to hear more. Like we'll talk about right now the things you really like. Like what are the things you enjoyed about this movie? What worked? And
I think it was Mike. Mike, Josh Hutcherson's performance, he really sold it as about like he's like this older brother who's kind of thrown into this really, bad situation, and he's just trying to make the best of it as best he can while dealing with his own stuff. And it just made it seem believable. And it's kind of a weird, like I remember being younger as an older brother. I remember having a nightmare. Like I had a weird nightmare where like my parents, something had happened and they had passed away, and then like I was in charge of James, and then like the government was trying to take James away from me. They were gonna like split us up, and it freaked me out. I was like, no, like yeah. So I could kind of already like sympathize with Mike because he's trying to do the best he can, but also like he's got some stuff of his own. You don't really know what happened to the mom or the dad, right? Like you just know that once Garrett, his brother, disappeared, like the family kind of fell apart, and he was kind of left in charge with Abby, his sister. And but like yeah, his performance is really what kind of like sells the whole thing, because if he's not convincing enough, then like
yeah.
it just kind of doesn't work, like
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And I guess it
So
depends on the viewers too, because I've chatted with a few friends and they're like, "Oh, I did not really like Mike's character. He was not." I was like, "Interesting." So yeah, it really depends on whether you think that he's convincing enough, and if you
yeah,
do, then you'll enjoy this movie. If you don't, you're probably not.
yeah,
But then like yeah, speaking of that, yeah, I did. No, for me, I liked Mike's character too. Like he's sympathetic and you're there for his plight. He's trying to take care of his little sister, and then you have everyone else who's trying to hound on him. You have his aunt that's like, I'm gonna take her away from you, and you're like, oh, Mike, you better do something, man. Look for a job.
yeah. Yeah, like the aunt was great, and then also her lawyer was
The
great,
lawyer was
Doug.
great.
Yeah,
Doug.
he's like I shouldn't be here. Like,
He always has that blank stare, like, oh, I should sneak away.
like I
Yeah,
should not be a part of this.
he's definitely one of the best characters in the movie. And then you have the babysitter who's there taking care, and I feel like her role, like she does, I feel like there's a part of her that has a good heart, but she's just stuck with bad people,
Yeah,
and everyone's just
she's
trying to like get information out of her.
yeah, she's a YouTuber too. I don't know her name. I just remember a lot of the people were reacting to the trailer and been like, "Oh, it's what's her name?" I don't
Uh,
know
Kat
what
Connor Sterling.
yes.
Um, yeah, I don't know much about her too,
Yeah.
but
Like Corey Kenshin, I knew the name. I just didn't know the YouTuber. He's more of like a horror kind of like gamer on YouTube, but I mean, I knew the name. I just didn't know Corey, and then seeing him on see him in the trailer, and then you see him in the film, and you're like, oh yeah.
mhm.
I mean, obviously everybody knows Matt Pat. Matt Pat
Yeah.
is like, yeah,
There are some people I don't know because not everyone watches
yeah,
YouTube. But yeah, when Matt
yeah.
Pat shows up, I was like, "Hey, it's Matt Pat!" And then when he does his line when he mentions theory in it, I'm like, "Yeah, it's a
he
game theory."
he did a video recently where he talked about his set visit. He got to talk to Scott Cawthon, the creator of FNAF. He was only on set for 2 days, and like he revealed that uh Markiplier was listed on the casting call sheet as the first night security guard, the one that dies,
Oh,
the
so he's
first
supposed to be
one.
the one that dies.
That was supposed to be Markiplier, and because of the scheduling conflicts, they
Yeah,
couldn't do it. But he was originally going to be that security guard, the one that you see at the beginning, and he's like, oh, But that didn't work out. But yeah, he talked about it. He talked about being on the set, seeing people, and like people already knew him before he even got to the set. They were like, oh, you're the FNAF guy. You're the so like a
yeah,
lot of the production people kept asking questions about like characters, about lore, about like what does this character mean, or what is how does this all connect together. And he was like, yeah, and he was like, yeah, and he just tell him what he thought about it. And he said when he finally met Scott, like they just talked about just about random stuff, and like mostly how you do it. And they didn't talk about like lore stuff because that stuff was all off the table, as far as like he wasn't gonna reveal any secrets to him. And they said that he for a long time he said that he had the full script and he never leaked anything, never if you're gonna be in the movie, I don't think you could do that at that point. That's kind of like you're biting the hand that feeds at that point. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, yeah,
yeah.
that would be kind of like a backhand thing to do them. They put you in the movie, and then you release all this information. So he kind of stayed quiet about it and said nothing. But he read through it and he got to went and saw the movie. But it was like, oh yeah, like he could see a little more stuff. And yeah, he had a really good time. And he said it was really cool to see this all come together, just all from doing YouTube.
YouTube, man. Well, yeah, that's what helped Five Nights at Freddy's become what it is, and
Yeah.
other like this. Okay, we got to talk about the animatronics, the Freddy and Chica and Bonnie and all that. Foxy, just looks cool, like when they move around and the special effects. Jim Henson, and also I'm not. I don't know if it's like the whole thing is Jim Henson, but like, is it a guy in a suit? Is it like a CG? Because
Yeah.
it looks really good, like just moving around.
I thought
And
they did a really good job with the animatronics and seeing them, and like they seemed like just like stuff we would have seen in our childhood. And what was let me ask you something. What was your like favorite scene in the movie?
I think my favorite scene is the just them looking at the camera. I'm like, oh, that just it's creepy vibes with
Because
just
I
the eyes. Like even like the stuff where everything's dark and you just see their eyes just light up, and that just gives me goosebumps. And also the '80s aesthetic with the videotape, the
Mhm.
the orientation videotape. and the girl talking in it, she's like, so like she's just getting paid to be there. I love that.
Yeah, I would say my favorite scene is actually when they build a fort together.
Ah,
That is my favorite scene because I was not expecting that. And then not only
just them
that,
being friends together and having fun.
yeah, and you see when Mike comes into the pizzaplex or whatever, the pizzeria, and they're already doing their, animatronic thing, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, they're here, they just stop, and then they look at, Abby and Mike, and then they just in the end, they're just kids, that's the sad thing about it is
Mm.
these are children that were murdered and they were deprived of their childhood, and then in this one moment they're allowed to, you know I guess, be kids again. And it's just a really sad scene when you watch it. Like, oh, this is it's cute. It's a little corny, it's cheesy, but it's it's just sad, when you think about it.
Yeah, and just the PG-13. There's my favorite would be when shit happens. The animatronics and the bad guys, the goons, the one that's just trying to mess up life for Mike, and then
Yeah,
they get picked off one by one. I wish we saw more, but then the babysitter, you saw she gets cut in half, and so in
yeah,
my theater, people are like, oh, they're like just gasping, like,
yeah.
whoa, yeah,
I wish there was more actual jump scares because there wasn't a lot of jump scares. There was a lot
yeah,
of tension build up. You would actually see them before something would happen. You
hmm,
see Cupcake, you see
yeah,
Chica holding Cupcake. You see Bonnie when he's in the janitor closet, he's standing there, and then the guy turns around and he's like, he attacks him. But you don't see when
yeah.
the franchise is known for its jump scares, and they didn't really do any. Um Maybe
Most of
they'll
the
do
jump scares comes from was it Balloon Boy?
Balloon Boy. Yeah, Balloon Boy's the only jump scare. He's just like, oh.
I'm like, it's just Balloon Boy. It's just he's just there,
Balloon Boy's
but it's funny though.
it's
Like,
Balloon
oh yeah,
Boy's
my
pretty goofy.
my background is like I haven't played the game, so I don't know anything about these characters. And I was before we were talking about just certain characters, like what is it, Golden Freddy?
Golden Freddy. Yeah, so
Yeah, I
there
had no
is
idea who this Golden Freddy is, and then Mike was like, is there a Golden Freddy and a regular Freddy? He's like, oh, maybe, yeah, it's the same guy. It's the same bear, right? That is my
there's
knowledge of
two
Five Nights at Freddy's.
there's two Freddys. There's Golden Freddy and no, Golden Freddy and just Freddy. Freddy
Hmm.
is so you can see there's five kids, and then Golden Freddy's the blonde kid, the main
Uh
one.
huh.
And the reason why that is because Golden Freddy and Springtrap, William Afton, their suits are similar because they happened around the same time. So those two suits, they're around the same time, and they were at an earlier restaurant. So that's why
Yeah.
they look the same. They're from an older model.
Mm. Yeah,
That's
I just wish they
why,
explained that better in the movie because
yeah,
people that are like fans of Five Nights at Freddy's, they would already know the difference. But for me, I'm just watching it. It's like, all right, he's in the car now. He was at the pizzeria, and now he's in the taxi, and now he's different. But I'm like, I'm just going with the flow. So
yeah, no, yeah. It's yeah, if you don't know, then you wouldn't. They don't tell you anything about that. And yeah, he's he's different from the other ones because in the games he can show up on specific nights or certain things happen. It's there's a rarity to him showing up, and he always just shows up and then he just disappears. He's not one of the constant threats all the other animatronics. So that's why when he shows up, he takes her to the pizzeria, and then he leaves and he just disappears, and then you never see him again. That's kind of why they kind of use that game lore or whatever, what people know about the games in the movie.
mhm.
But yeah, that's Golden Freddy.
Golden Freddy. Who's your favorite? The animatronics.
I thought they did a lot with Foxy, really.
Foxy, yeah, with the hooks
Yeah,
and
yeah, and also you hear him. He's little dum 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 dum. That's Foxy. Anytime you hear
uh
that, like you're like, oh shit, here comes Foxy. That's when you know to like get ready to close that door,
yeah.
because Foxy's coming. And yeah, anytime you would hear him in the hallway, they did it twice. I think they did it for the robbers, and then they did it again for when Josh Hutcherson is trying to get out, where he's like he's in it, and then you hear him doing dum 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 dum.
The end credits with the music, the theme, right? Like,
Yeah.
did that tickle your funny bone?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not that big of a fan. Like that, I know what the reference is too, because like it's I think it's a YouTube creator who created the song or something. But I mean, yeah, I mean, it's cool. I mean, I was more like the stuff about like how it all connects together and like how it's going to move forward, because it's so different from the games. Like Mike is such a big part of the video games overall. Like, and like you, if you notice, um, William Afton, he looks at his thing when he goes to see him, and then he looks at his last name, and then he's like, oh, like he knows who he is in a way, kind of thing. And
Yeah.
like at that after that point, he takes a personal interest in him, but why?
Why? Hmm.
What does this all mean? So like
Yeah.
I don't know how this is gonna like come together in the sequel. It's gonna be the sequel. I don't know how that's all gonna connect, but I think it will. We'll just have to wait and see, because like it left it very open. It's very open to different interpretation compared to the games might be completely different depending on like what they decide to do with the sequel.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's what makes it really interesting. Okay, let me ask you, what was the thing that you liked the least about the movie?
Oh, we can go into a whole section about that. Like, you want to start now on the things that we thought didn't work with the film? We can continue with that, or we can still talk about the other characters. I don't know. We talk about Vanessa
Yeah,
and whether you liked her character or not, or the revelations, the plot twists. Like, did you like the plot twist
yeah.
with William? Like, hey, it was him. Oh my God, here's a photo. Oh, Vanessa was the daughter all along.
Yeah, that was weird. I mean, it's kind of, this is a part where like if you're a fan that like gets into all the lore, you're like, because I don't even want to say anything, because then you're gonna be like, what?
Well, I
Like,
just say it. Just say it. This is
yeah.
a spoiler
So
review. So,
okay, so Vanessa is in the most recent game. Vanny is there is belief that she may be in the game. There's belief that she may be a robot,
huh.
and that she may be a robot that was created for the for William Afton's daughter,
Hmm.
because William Afton's daughter's name is Charlie, and in the books there's multiple Charlie bots that they've made over time, and trying to um something happened to William Afton's I don't remember if it was his daughter that died first or it was his son that died first. See, this is the thing, like you get like all these things, because he
Uh,
kind of went crazy. And so that mask that you see, like what it's called a remnant extractor. So what it's supposed to do, it's supposed to pull like your life force, your essence, kind of thing. Like using that, he's able to make things come to life. So like that's kind of like where we're gonna go in the future. More than likely they'll explain all that, but like just on the face value, you don't know, you have no idea what that machine does. You're just like,
uh.
it's a creepy saw machine, like and
It's
like you
it's
really
like it's
don't.
like a yeah saw machine, rated R. I want to see what happens, and then it
Yeah.
cuts away. It cuts away. That could be like all the other stuff that we could talk about. Continue on. Let's say, I think my biggest gripe with this film would be that I wish it was scarier. Because let's say if it wasn't part of a video game, like just judging it as a horror movie by itself, I was not scared. There were some creepy scenes with the animatronics, the way they move, the way they look. But for me, like the stuff I enjoyed is more on just the lore side, the animatronics, and just having fun with the movie. But as a horror movie, some creepy stuff, but it's a movie I can watch over and over again, and like willy nilly just watch it. Like if it's like a truly horrifying movie, I'll hesitate to like rewatch it. Like one of my favorite movies is Conjuring, and even I don't feel like I should rewatch it because I know it's going to be like scary for me, or
Like
even The Ring.
Hereditary?
Yeah, so I'm like, I'm good. Like I don't think I need to rewatch it. But Five Nights is a type of movie like, yeah, I can watch it over and over again and not feel scared.
Yeah, it's I said it was more kids movie than horror movie. And like, yeah, there's
kids movie though. What do you say? It's like PG-13, and there's people getting cut in half. Kids movie.
I was like trying to think. I was like, what other like?
It's
not.
It's more like it's like in between Goosebumps and a horror film, like an R-rated horror film, somewhere in between.
There's a fine line that they're not willing to cross.
Yeah,
and yeah, I mean, I get it, and you know, they know who their audience is, and they know that, you know, they have a lot of kids that, you know, like the franchise and buy all the toys, and then all the parents
toys. You have so much merchandise for this property, this franchise, and you got to be catering to the demographic for this.
Yeah, I mean it worked. I mean that you don't have an opening like that unless, you know, people are like, this movie sucks, don't go see it. If you were to ask me like what was your favorite like top 5 horror films in the year, I don't think this is going to go on that. Like I wouldn't say it was terrible. Like I wouldn't put like, obviously, you know, I tell you like, oh, you know, Talk to Me, you know, no one will save you, you know, Boogeyman, you know, all these movies, like these are actually horror films. You know, this was just kind of like fun to watch. I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, like don't go see that. Like I asked my brother, and I was like, did you watch it? Because we used to watch Markiplier. And when I used to live there, me and him would watch Markiplier play Five Nights at Freddy's. And I just saw my cousin today, and she has two kids, you know, boy and a girl, and they went to go see it, and they loved it. And it's just like, yeah. And like I look on their fridge, they have, you know, Sonic the Hedgehog, and they have Cupcake, like you know, coloring book pages, and it's just
coloring
kind of
book
funny,
pages. Definitely, this is definitely for kids. It's a weird horror property for kids where you're trying to scare them, but then you have a coloring book page and just fun merchandise, toys like the one I gave you with the snap-on, snap-off stuff.
I have them right here.
It's like, but then you also have toys for Friday the 13th and Nightmare Before Elm Street, or Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, you can take the face off to reveal the animatronic face.
Let's see. There you
go. Yeah.
That's a jump scare right there.
Ah!
But yeah, oh yeah, the doll. We talked about that in the non-spoiler. That is, I guess, is supposed to be Baby. This is Baby right here.
Mm-hmm.
That's Baby. And that's kind of, I forgot what they call her. There's a different name for her, but that's going to be the second movie. We'll see what happens with. So I don't know what's going to happen. So I don't know, because Abby's still alive, Mike is still alive. Is Vanessa
the ant
still
is
alive?
dead.
The ant is dead.
There's
a
dead body in the house.
Oh yeah, what happened with that? How did Mike explain that? Like, she's dead.
Maybe we'll find out in the sequel. Because people are dying all around him. Like his aunt is dead. They're probably gonna figure out like, who's missing? Where's the aunt? Like, where is she? And maybe the lawyer's gonna ask, like, what happened to her? And then the babysitter is missing. So all these people are missing that's involved with Mike. I wonder if people are gonna start questioning things. Or like, since he's friends with Vanessa now, Vanessa can just put it all under the rug.
Yeah, like what about at the end he's in the car with Abby and they're driving. Is he on the run or is he like going home? Like I didn't really get like that ending because like I
Mhm.
mean I can't remember if like and then of course obviously you see William Afton is still technically alive in the suit,
Yeah, because the
just
door closes, and then you see like little movement. So it's like it's definitely gonna tease like a sequel.
yeah. So he always comes back. Yeah, he's not done. Uh, but yeah, I don't know what happened with Mike
You'll
because
be
yeah,
right
that's
back. Scream reference for you.
yeah. I saw somebody do what do they call those? The super cuts or whatever, like the fan cuts of
Uh huh.
videos, and they did the both videos
Yeah.
back to back, and it's pretty funny. But yeah, I don't know what happened with Mike. Like, is he just go back to working or because now he's got to find another job. He can't work
Yeah.
at the Pizzaplex because technically what's his name's dead. William Afton's not going to pay him, and
Where's the money? Where's the
the
money?
the aunt's gone.
Yeah.
How's he going to provide for Abby? I don't know. Maybe he's just on the run, like him and her. They just were out of here,
He comes
like
up with an idea to team up with Freddy and gang to throw birthday parties.
yeah.
Yeah.
Throw personal birthday parties. They bring the experience to you.
So, any last words you want to mention about this? Because, yeah, let's we're gonna wrap this up.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. I think some people were a little bit too overly critical on it. I mean, I get like, there's critics, like I won't say the person's name, but I saw this person's review and there was a lot of, let's say, flowery language used in like
Hmm.
the Rotten Tomatoes like, blurb. And
Yeah.
it's like just reading your review, like you thought way too much of about this movie. Like you're these big words that you're using, like it's not that deep, man. It's just
Uh
it's
huh.
an animatronics, kids horror movie, whatever you want to call it, they're PG-13 movie. Yeah, it's I don't know what you were expecting out of this. This isn't Citizen Kane or Psycho or whatever, but like uh yeah, I just think some
He
people
wants
just might
every
be
movie to be like Psycho and Citizen Kane.
sometimes movies aren't for you, and that's just okay. Like I'm not gonna watch, the next Fast and Furious movie. I haven't watched the last ones, and that's okay. All right. I was on the ride for a little bit, and then I got off. And the ride continues on without me, like
Yeah.
that's fine. I don't have to, make it, oh, they need to make this movie for me, like but yeah, it's just, just watch something else. There's a lot of movies out there that you can watch. Go watch talk about the stuff you guys do like. Go see No One Will Save You. Go see Talk to Me. Go see Boogeyman. Go see these movies so that way they keep getting made. If
Yeah.
you want to
Or
see these,
X and
yeah.
the other ones.
Yeah, go see X. Go see, what was it last year? Barbarian. Those are these
Yeah.
movies that are,
Barbarian was creepy.
yeah. So like, you want to see these movies and go out to the theaters. You pay your with your money, buy the overly priced popcorn, and they'll make those movies.
Yeah, and now but yeah, let's Five Nights at Freddy's, a lot of money, and it's crazy because it was also released on Peacock too. So people have the option, and people chose the option of just watching it in theaters, and it's a big event over the weekend for the movie going experience. The audience score, cinema score A minus. So it's just critics, but also movie Reddit. I read a little bit of movie Reddit, and a lot of movie Reddit did not like the movie. So there are definitely criticisms with the movie, and I can kind of understand where they're coming from with like not it being scary enough, and maybe there's like certain things that people are upset about with plot holes or like with the aunt, like what's going to happen to her dead body. Um,
The thing that I didn't like the most, it's just you just at that point I just was like, you know what, I'm already at this point, the movie's already over, it doesn't matter, was
mhm.
the drawing, like putting the drawing there, and
And then
then
they
they're
see
like
the drawing, and then they're like, "All right, this William is the bad one."
that was like the thing that I was like, but I was like, you know what, this I got like what, maybe 10 minutes left in this movie.
Yeah,
Let's just wrap it up. I get it, you know.
yeah.
That
But
was it.
yeah, any other thoughts?
No, that's man. I liked it. I can't wait to see the next one. I'm sure this is going to get fast tracked, and you know that we'll be seeing much more of this.
Yeah, yeah, and I enjoyed it overall. There's some gripes. I wish it was scarier and all that. And there's like some nitpicks that you can go on and on with like certain things, but those things don't really bother me as much for this one. But yeah, the animatronics I enjoyed. The Jim Henson stuff, great stuff. Just them moving around. And yeah, let us know what your thoughts are on Five Nights at Freddy's on the comments below. And with that, if you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.